Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close. Oh boy, feels like it's been a while since we have last been together. It was just Sunday. It was just Sunday, but it still feels like a long time. That's what happens when you take a couple of days off. Holy cow. So we're back in. We're ready to go. We got a market. We got a whole bunch of fun stuff. Of course, one of the things that we did address right at the top of the show on the weekend, well, was whether we're going into a recession. Is this crash going to be a huge deal? And it's not. And you guys, I think by now you can sort of see that we're already starting to backpedal out. Now, the funny thing is, and this is what I find really neat. When we went into Monday's market, we had a red day here. We had a nice, a steady fall through the day here. The U.S. though, we did see that rebound. We did see that green as we were expecting, and I was expecting green today. I was absolutely expecting green, and we had green most of the day. However, we slipped back into the red just at the end. It's already too late. I already made a green thumbnail. I'm prepared, but I did switch I did switch the wall to red. So we'll have a little bit of that. And there is that chance. There's that very good chance that we could slip back into the green before the bell. There's 14 minutes. Anything can happen. I'm not as hopeful, but I would certainly love to see that. That would be like that'd be a great way. That'd be a great way to move into the bell. All right, let's actually pull up the charts here. There we go. All righty. So as we are starting off here, we can see the TSX nice in the green, not by much, down by 0.21%. S&P 500 is down by 0.3. The NASDAQ down a little bit deeper, 0.52%, and the Dow Jones down 0.28%. Gold, pretty flat right now. It is on the right now. Well, it was at 0.01, then it was at 0.00, but gold's flat. Silver a little bit down, 0.75 down. A WTI looking good at 3.26% to the green. And crypto's down. Bitcoin down 2.24%. Ethereum 4.60%. So we definitely got an interesting day out there. All right, let's look at our heat map. And as you can see, we got I'd say we got a mixed bag here. We got a lot of red. We also got some greens in here as well. Looking at the banks, some banks are doing okay. Well, Bank of Nova Scotia, so Scotiabank's up 0.08. National Bank is up. Royal Bank, TD, BMO, and CIBC, they're all down a little bit, but not by much. Non-energy minerals, that is one sector where we got ourselves a lot of red going on. Whereas energy minerals, so your CNQ, your Imperial Oil, your Cenovus, they're looking good. They're looking fantastic. Enbridge is looking good. Also, I noticed as well, just before we came on, Fortis still looking good. Utilities are still, it's kind of a mixed batch, but I'm still pretty happy with utilities. Railway, both are down. CN definitely down a lot more than CP. And oh boy, the retail trade not doing well. As you can see, Alimentation Couche-Tard down a full 2.49%. Dollarama down, Loblaw's down, Metro's down. So definitely got a mixed bag. But the sectors that are down are down well. That's for sure. All right. Looking at our ETFs, not too bad. I mean, it's actually not that red compared to what we've seen, but also a lot of these are pulling from US. VFV, though, is down a little bit. And the US. So the US, we still have, now look at this. This is Apple. Apple, I mean, they're still doing good. They did come down a little bit during the whole crash. I guess we'll call it a crash. Well, it's not real. Honestly, it's even hard enough. It's hard to even call it a crash. A little tiny correction that we had. So, but they seem to be rebounding. That's not too shabby. All right, that's Apple. Google's doing okay. Meta's down a little bit. NVIDIA, NVIDIA's not having a good day. Look at them. They're down 3.83%. So if you're looking at the dip, you found it. It's there. So we need to see some movement on NVIDIA. Now, keep in mind, at the end of August, that's when we get the earnings call for NVIDIA. So that could be very interesting. Tesla also down. So what can we say? Well, Amazon is up though. So there are some hope in the Magnificent Seven. Well, actually, Amazon's up, Google's up a little bit, and Microsoft's up a teeny bit. Over to cryptocurrency. Oh boy, look at all this red. We got Bitcoin down by 1.94%. Ethereum's down 4.29%. And it just keeps going. It keeps going down and down and down. And I'm going to grab the right mouse here so that I can slide on in and we can take a look at some coin I've never heard of. I like doing this. Who knows what we're going to find? Well, I was right in there. All right, give me a second, guys. Oh, wow. What did I just do? All right, I know what I did. Bang. All right. Holy cow. All right, there we go. I'm going to pick, let's see here. Something I've never seen before. Let's pick somebody in the middle, not red or green. We'll pick this guy right here. This here, Myria. I don't know who Myria is, but they haven't been having a good time for the last little while. They've gone from being worth just over a penny down to being worth a tenth of a penny. That's not pretty good. I have no clue what this coin does. No idea. Whether it's my RIA, your RIA, whose RIA, nobody knows. Your RIA, no, I don't know. I'm just going to say there's 14,000 coins out there. This is one of them, and this is a coin I will never buy, ever. I actually hope I never see it again. But, you never know. Eventually, we might stumble on the same coin again. But, yeah, my RIA is our random piece of coin. Yeah, that we, oh gosh. All right, let's get to the chat. Let's move to the chat here. What do we got? Oh, 3:52 is the time. All right. Oh boy. All right. Vic was the very first in the house. Hi, Vic. First in line, followed by Mary. Mary's here, guys. That means you gotta hit the like button. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee while you guys all hit that like button. That is fantastic. All right. Living on Cash says, hi, Candace. Thanks for the free membership. Yeah, absolutely. So we do that, by the way, first Sunday of every month. We usually drop about 10 free memberships. Sometimes we go a little overboard and we go a little higher, but normally it's about 10. Muhammad says, hi, Candace and everyone. Hello, Muhammad. Stan is in the house with a hello, everyone. Sammer is here with a hello, all. And we got Al Bundy in the house. Let's see. Muhammad says, Middle East problems are causing people to sell before the end of the day. Eek. Yeah. I did not look at the news before I came in, at least that type of news. I was looking at some financial stuff, but yeah, I'm really surprised that I was expecting things to sort of to hit the fan like Monday, even Tuesday. I'm surprised we've made it to Wednesday. So we'll have to see how that's all going to turn out. Hopefully, when Iran does their retaliation, I'm hoping it is not it is nothing more than the last time they did it, which was kind of pathetic, but it was great. It was kind of like, show that you're doing it without actually taking an escalation, because that's what we kind of don't want to see. All right. Kevin Kaz is in the house with an afternoon gang. Let's see. Got some INTC and SMCI. There you go. Should have loaded up on Shopify yesterday, but money was locked up in BMO. Yeah, Shopify had, from the title, you've probably noticed we have two earnings calls that came in. One was from Air Canada, the other was from Shopify. So Air Canada, they missed expectations, so it wasn't great on their stock. But they're still higher. They're still flying a little bit higher than they were when we had that crash on Friday. So that's not too shabby. Actually, on Monday, no, not even Monday, but Tuesday morning, when they opened up yesterday morning, at one point, Air Canada was down to about $14.50. So that's pretty darn low. I'm still bullish overall long term on Air Canada. In fact, I did add 3 shares of Air Canada to the 0 to 100K challenge. I think I got them at 1468 or something like that. So I'm gonna do exactly what I've been talking about when people ask me about Air Canada. Now, I'm gonna buy them when they're low, and we'll just let that ride. And as soon as it hits $20, we're flipping it, we're selling it, and then we'll put it into something else. So I am I am going to follow my own advice on that one. Patricia's in the house with a hi. Hello, Patricia. Good to see you. Larry says, I'm a glass half full guy and call it a sale. Absolutely. Now, here's a funny thing. When somebody asks me, am I glass half empty or glass half full? I like to take the quantum mechanics version of it. And I'm like, well, the glass is both half empty and half full until I measure it. And I'm just not really wanting to measure the glass. So I'll leave it in that state, in that superposition, I guess. Joe says Suncor is having a great day on earnings. Nice. I have not looked at Suncor's yet, but that's fantastic. Vic says, whoops, I almost lost track of the time, so I had to very very, very quickly get back up. Vic says, so the lady tied herself to the tree for 40 days. I'm not sure what that means, but that's a long time to be tied to a tree. All right. VLG. Hi, Candace. My first comment in your channel. Well, welcome, VLG. I love seeing new people. Every so often, I see a name I've never seen before, and it excites me. I'm like, oh my gosh, here's somebody I have no idea who they are. But, I hope it's not your last comment. So definitely feel free to comment as much as you want, ask questions, all that fun stuff. It's a great community. This is a great community. I love these guys. Mario says, good afternoon. Hello, Mario. Good to see you. Larry says, picked up a lot of Japanese shares Monday. Toyota down from 195 to 153. Tokyo Electron 105 to 72. Tokyo Marine 40 to 28. Temco 5 to 350. Yeah. I mean, the drop that Japan experienced is one of their largest since Black Monday. So, it's been a long time since they've had a drop like that. So there were a lot of sales over there. Definitely. Mohammed says, I bought Bird Construction when it was under 20 and sold at 26. Now it's 22.40. What do you think of them now? I'm still bullish on Bird Construction. I'm not selling my Bird Construction. I'm going to hold on to them for a bit. Their fundamentals, I've been happy with them. I will, of course, I'm always willing to reevaluate, but for now, I'm still pretty bullish on Bird Construction, and they can sit in my portfolio. I have no problems with that. Let's see. Oh gosh. Now we got Jonathan here. Never fear, for I am here. The bell. Yes, we got 40 seconds. 40 seconds to the bell. So VLG, if you have not seen this before, I have a bell. I have an actual friggin' bell that I will ring as soon as it hits 4 o'clock. Now, with the delay, because I think there's like about a 20-second delay or something, it'll look like to you guys I'm hitting it 20 seconds after the fact, but it's just that weird YouTube delay. YouTube delay. We're down to 8 seconds. Oh boy, it is so close to time. Oh. Here we go. And the market right. I never tire of the bell. I never tire. This is the best thing I probably ever ordered off of Amazon was this bell. I'm like, this is fantastic. And I only use, I'll tell you, I only use it for the show. I don't go around just ringing the bell all the time because that'd be kind of creepy and weird. But all right. Vic says, never heard of carry trade. Carry trade. So carry trade is a trading method where basically you buy something like Japanese currency because the interest rates were so low. So you could basically, you could borrow a bunch of Japanese yen, and then you could, do all of your investing and make a whole bunch of money off of borrowed money without having to worry about interest rates. But it's changing. It's changing. And some people who have been using this carry trade are they're sort of looking at Japan and saying, uh-oh, I think we may have to pay the piper soon. So that is definitely something to be concerned about if you're somebody who does carry trading. I don't, but some people definitely probably are involved in it. Hello, here for the bell. Yes, always good to see you, King of Day. Always good to see you. Larry says, Buffett was talking about it in his Japan interview with Greg Abel, now CEO of Berkshire, when he dies. Interesting. Let's see. Berkshire was doing the same thing with borrowing from Japan. Yeah. It's one of these things. I mean, logically, Japan has had a low interest rate for such a long time. Logically, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to do it. However, things can happen and things can change. So you always have to, I look at it this way. If you're going to use a strategy like something like, for example, carry trade, have a contingency plan for in case the crap hits the fan, because that happens. That happens for sure. Carry trade. Yeah, good old carry trade. Let's just take that quick. Let's get the market out of the way. I'm going to just pull this up very quickly. We'll see. I'm kind of curious to see if we made it back to the green. I don't think we did. Nope. We actually sunk a little bit further. So the TSX finishes the day at 0.45% in the red. The S&P 500 0.77, NASDAQ 0.62, Dow Jones 0.6, gold sunk into the red at 0.11, silver into the red at 0.106, and of course, WTI, West Texas Intermediate, which is your oil, it has risen up to 324. And with a lot of people concerned about the Middle East, you know what? That does make sense. Bitcoin finished 2.13% down, now 2.16. It's still moving. And Ethereum also finished down. What a day. What a day. All right. On to the heat maps. Once again, we got a lot of red right across the board. Let's see who actually did good. I'm going to get rid of the red. We can get rid of the close red. So some of the big winners. I'm not even going to call CNQ a big winner. You know what? Let's get rid of the 1%ers too. So some of the big winners, we got Suncor, Imperial Oil, Tuorlamine. So definitely we got some people up here. Oh, Aritzia over here pulled in a 2.73. So you normally don't see Aritzia very much on the list, but we do have some winners. I wonder if I get rid of the 2%, if we get anybody else who pops in here that's kind of interesting. Not just so Suncor, Aritzia are the ones that are popping out. Let's see. I don't know who this is here. Soy. So they're doing 4.01. I actually don't know who Soy is, but maybe they make soy products. I honestly don't know. We'd have to look. And we can actually look. We'll look at that when we get over to the thing here. All right. And a lot more red as we move towards deeper red at the end of the day. So yeah, we definitely got some stuff happening here. And on the US side, once again, NVIDIA not having a great day. Let's pull the NVIDIA chart up here. So you can see they've been coming down a little bit, as I mentioned before, we do have their earnings coming up at the end of August. So that will be fun to see what's going to happen here. Now, I do know AI-wise, Figure. They actually revealed the Figure 2 robot. We didn't actually get to see a demo with it, just more of a breakdown, but it looks like a really sleek looking robot. So we do have things happening behind the scenes in AI. And I'm still, like I said, I'm pretty confident on NVIDIA long term. Well, let's, if I keep on slurring words, I'll be able to run for president. So let's, all right, we'll pull that out of there. And crypto, once again, crypto not looking good. It's pretty much a bad looking day right across the board. But I want to see what, okay. Just give me a second. I'll pull this site back up again here. We'll reload it. I'm kind of curious about soy. So from their name, I'm thinking they've got to be, looking at, okay, so Sun Opta is their actual name. All right. Interesting. They're not worth that much, but what do they do? What do they do? Yeah, kind of what I was thinking about. Healthy product portfolio. So plant-based foods, beverages, and fruit-based foods and beverages. So there we go. It's soy. It's got soy in there and probably other things similar. Well, there's soy right there. So almond and soy. So all of that fun stuff. Yeah. Well, they're having themselves a pretty good day. So that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Let's see. 9 says Bank of Japan only raised 0.25%. Right. Yeah, they didn't go much. It's just that they started to move. And if you're in a situation where you're leveraged quite a bit with Japanese debt, any move up is all of a sudden more servicing on your side. So, I think it was, now we could be wrong. If somebody can verify this, 2.5 sounds about accurate, but anybody who knows 100%, throw it in chat for me, please. Al says, there we go. Al says, yep. How would a retail investor borrow in yen? You're probably going to have a broker that allows you to trade in or maybe even a money market or some sort. I've never even thought about doing this, so that's interesting. And I love this here. So Kevin Cass is mentioning that Torlamine has a special dividend coming out this month. So they've done that, like they did that last year, and they're doing that this year. So it's like, not only are you getting your quarterly dividends, you're getting a special dividend as well each quarter. And that's fantastic. That's really, really good. I know last year I had a significant amount in Torlamine, and I was enjoying that dividend quite a bit. And I kind of wish I was still in them with that. Bill says, I think we already know NVIDIA will have a good earnings. I believe you're right on that. All of their customers are reporting increases to their capital expenditures in their earnings report. Yeah, I'm expecting NVIDIA to have a really good day. Now, here's the thing. How will that affect overall tech? How much of that will sort of splash over onto some of the other companies? You might get a bit, but those will be more short-lived. But I think NVIDIA is going to have definitely a pretty interesting end of month. So, there's different things, if you're looking to play it, there's probably going to be opportunities in there. All right. Vic says Torlamine has great dividends made even greater with the special dividend. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Vic says, imagine borrowing at 0% and investing it. Yeah. Then it's pretty much all profit. I mean, here's what I would do. If I had that opportunity to borrow at the 0% and invest it, what I would then do is I would take my winnings and I would just pay that back on that loan so I could eat away at that loan. And eventually all of that capital would eventually be all mine. So that's kind of how I would handle something of that nature. Mario says, I love my Torlamine. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mohammed, I'm waiting for a market scare to double my positions in Tesla and Amazon. You probably don't have to wait a long time, because one of the things I've been talking about and I think this is going to be true all the way up to the US election, is that right now investors are skittish. They're all skittish. There's a lot of fear in the market. As a result, we're now at this point where if you looked, for example, earlier into this whole cycle, bad things would happen and the market would go up. That was kind of an interesting thing. People weren't that skittish. They were like, "Oh boy, let's let's just stick with the market. The market keeps going up." Everybody was happy. But as we've started to move into the election cycle and some of the craziness that's been happening around the election, around the politics, around geopolitics, around everything from the Middle East, and that people are no longer in that state. They're in a state where they're skittish, and all it takes is a little bad thing to happen, and the sky is falling. And you got people out there. You got YouTubers making videos like crazy, explaining to you why it's the end of the world as we know it. They haven't been right. It's one of these things. It's like, okay, if it's the end of the world, and it can happen, we could have recessions, we can have market collapses. These things do happen, but, and here's the big but, I need to see some data. When you look at a lot of these big things, it's very rare that it happens overnight. Normally, if it happens overnight, it's called black swan because it's usually an event or something. Like, for example, if let's just say, and hopefully this is not going to happen, but let's just say Iran just decided to go completely all out in their retaliation on Israel. That would have a lot of ramifications. That would be kind of a black swan event. I don't think anyone's expecting a full out response. There's speculation as to what their response will be, but there's only one person or one group of people that knows what that response is, and that's probably some of the command structure within Iran. And they're not going to sort of announce it ahead of time, say, okay, guys, this is exactly what's going to be coming your way. Get ready. We're going to give it to you. So it never really happens that way. But we are in this point where it doesn't take much and people just start to get scared. They start selling. And that for the smarter investors who sit back and help, those of you who have a little bit of your cash and you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh boy, these are some great opportunities. So these are some great opportunities right now. I can get in low, and that's how you make money, right? I will point out right now, I've been slowly building a small cash position within the 0 to 100K challenge. Right now, I think it's two two shares of cash, so it's like $100. I'm not cashing them out right now. There's been some good opportunities, but there's always the possibility of even more opportunities depending on something that does happen. So I'm not too concerned, and I wouldn't be really super concerned. Sometimes you just get like, and I know I probably pick on Meet Kevin a lot, but he's probably the best at the clickbait. He's probably the best at it. How many times, and you guys have all probably seen this, how many times has he had World War III in his title? Could you get any more clickbaity than that? Probably not. So a lot of times, though, I will give him credit. A lot of times I'll go in and just curious to see where he's going to go. A lot of times he does sort of level things out a little bit and say, okay, it's not really that bad. And, and that's fine. But sometimes he does read things a little bit wrong. So, for example, the whole Sam thing, he read that completely wrong. And, there was a lot of panic. A lot of people read it wrong. Of course, if you had just, listened to what Claudia Sam had said about the Sam rule and how it was not really being triggered because of the situation from a year ago, then yeah, you wouldn't make some of these mistakes. But at the same time, there are a lot of YouTubers out there that they're looking they're looking for the panic. They're looking for those panic people are out there going, oh God, I got a bad feeling. I think I'm going to lose everything. Oh, look at that title. Look at that title. It's telling me that I'm in trouble. And of course you're going to go into it because you're scared. It's your money. So that will happen. And I don't think we can ever get rid of all of the doom and gloom titles out there, but always use your head. If you go into a video, because especially with Bitcoin, let's talk about Bitcoin for a second. You can quite literally sit down for an afternoon of watching a few videos. And maybe you're thinking, oh, I'm going to watch a couple Bitcoin videos. And you can watch one video, and at the end of it, you're like, I think I need to sell all my Bitcoin now. This is all going to get bad. Then you watch the next one, and then you're like, at the end of that video, you're like, oh, this is not so bad. I think I should be buying more Bitcoin right now. So it's just that whole thing. Like, there's a lot of FUD. There's a lot of FOMO. And depending on how it's presented, you can quite literally experience all of those in one sitting session, just from going from different videos and people coming and throwing different things at you. Because one of the problems is both FOMO and FUD, they get the clicks. They absolutely get the clicks. A lot of times, the people who sit in the middle who are like, okay, let's look at this rationally, those are the people who don't get the clicks. I know this because that's what I do. I'm never gonna, I just don't want to get on the fear wagon. If I see data that says, oh boy, we're in trouble, then here's the thing. If you guys start hearing me saying, uh-oh, we're in trouble, then we definitely want to pay attention. And right now we're not in trouble. We're going to have ups and downs. The people who are in trouble are the people who are panic selling, things like that. Those are the people, they're in trouble. They're absolutely in trouble because they're giving into their emotions. They're realizing losses. And on the other side of every loss, there's somebody getting a fantastic deal sitting there going, look at this, so you got to remember that. All right. Whew. Let's try to get caught up with the chat. I went off on a tangent there. Mario says, I will get some NE. 9 says, even if the Bank of Japan rates were 0%, they would probably charge at least 1% for the interest. Yeah, exactly. Like, whenever you look at the overnight rate at the Bank of Japan or Bank of Canada, for example, the banks are always charging more. They need to make money. So, the prime lending rate does tend to be a couple of percentage points above. Let's see. NVIDIA at 80 when it drops. My favorite titles are Get Out Now, Tell Your Family to Prepare, Somehow the Fair Channel Survive. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's hilarious. The same people who will click on a fear-mongering channel, they'll get... they'll sort of be told the world's in trouble, everything's crashing, and that person will, they'll believe it, and then it doesn't happen, but then they go back the next time as well. But keep in mind too, and this is where you might reinforce it. Let's say, that fear-mongering channel scares you and you sell off a bunch of stuff and you've now taken a considerable loss. So a lot of times you may actually come back thinking, yeah, they were right. I took quite a beating. Oh boy, I could have taken a worse beating if I hadn't listened to them. So that does happen. That absolutely happens. And that's right. The clickbait is ridiculous. I mean, I'm going to be clear on clickbait. You can make clickbait if and only if you're delivering on what you're baiting. So, if you make a clickbait, like, for example, if I find some stocks that are all providing total returns like above 30%, I can put, 5 great stocks, 30% plus on there. That is a clickbait. Absolutely. But I'm delivering. If you're delivering, I'm okay with it. Just don't put something up. Like, there's nothing worse to click on a video that promises you something spectacular in the title, or in the thumbnail, and you watch the video and it never materializes at all. I'm always like, ugh, I'm not happy. I'm not happy that that's happened. So I sort of keep it that way. All right. And I probably should I probably should bring up Big Me while we're talking here. 9 says not going to dip into my cash war chest yet. DCA my dividends and interest for now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't think it's time to break out the war chest by any means at all. Larry says, so far, yield max, NVIDIA, and Bitcoin experiment has been bad, but I don't know. I feel that I'm stuck but that I'll recover after earnings. Yeah, I can understand that. So when we're looking at NVIDIA, yeah, if you're in a situation that, you got in at a high point, it may not be a bad idea when we get the earnings. If you get back into your green, it might not be an idea. It may not be a bad idea to take some profits, because here's the thing. We already know that we've got a market where people are, where they're frazzled. They're panicking. And we're probably going to see that all the way up until after the election. Now, in that type of a market, if let's say you're holding a bunch of bags of NVIDIA, you get back in the green, well, you might want to think, and this is up to you guys. I mean, because I know NVIDIA is a good long-term investment, but some people might think, okay, maybe now is the time to take some of it off the table. Not all, but take some of it off the table. And then wait. And then as you get closer to the election, all you need is one of these, crazy little events that panics everybody. And then NVIDIA goes down. And at that point, then you're like, I can now take these profits and put them back into NVIDIA. It pulls my overall adjusted cost base down. And I know NVIDIA is going back up. So that's always an option. And a lot of smart traders will do stuff like that. When you hear about, think about Bitcoin. When you hear about the whales are always moving, or whales are selling, or things like that, well, of course they are. When it's high, when the price of Bitcoin is high, whales will sell, and they'll just wait for Bitcoin to come back down. Because keep in mind, too, with Bitcoin, you're not holding this in a registered account. So you're holding this in a personal account. So basically, you don't have to worry about, there's no rules. Like, you can buy it back right away. There's not a lot of rules. And that's one of the things that people do. Some whales will get people panicked so that the market crashes, and they've sold at the top, and then they're buying, and they end up with more Bitcoin in total when they buy it at a lower price. So that's not a bad place to be. And let's see. 9 says, I keep getting Jim Richards doom and gloom videos. Some are new uploads, but he is talking about the pandemic. Oh boy. Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of crazy, there's crazy stuff out there. And I will watch some, just because a lot of times I watch it just to see what they're spewing. And I'm like, oh boy. And sometimes I like to know, because sometimes I get people coming back to this channel, wanting me to clarify things. It's like, all right, I watched Meet Kevin, and he said this. Is it true? What's going on? And I'm like, all right, let's talk a little more real, and let's remove the sensationalism. Let's be boring. Oh, the kitten's on the move up there.
I don't know that.
Oh, thank you, Alexa. So yeah, let's be boring, but let's deal with reality. Let's deal with the math. Let's deal with what the markets are actually doing. Let's not deal with what somebody is fearing might be happening. I like to know what is happening. What is probably happening, not a fairy tale, or not a, I need to quickly sell everything I own and put all my money in a mattress. Yeah, we're not there. And it'll be, I don't think I'd ever put money in a mattress, to be honest. But yeah. Lisa's in the house with a hello. And we get Mohammed. My strategy is to sell whenever I can make a decent profit on a stock, hold if it dips so there is no real loss, just a matter of time. Yeah, I mean, and that's perfectly fine strategy. So, I mean, in a sense, it's kind of like a very long-term swing trading. but it never hurts. When you're in the green, taking profits is never a bad thing. Maybe it keeps going up, but maybe it doesn't. And we're in that cycle where, a lot of the big traders who make a lot of money, they play the cycles. They know that stocks go up, stocks go down, and that's what they're doing. They're selling when they're up, they're buying when they're down. So it's like the buy low, sell high. That's what they're doing. But the people who get all caught up in the fear, they're doing the opposite. They're buying when the prices are high, and then they're selling when they're panicking as the prices are falling. So they end up losing money when they do it that way. So, definitely something to sort of pay attention to overall for sure. Larry says, my NVIDIA yield max is down from 27 average to 21 Bitcoin yield max 17 to 12 just on my personal account. I wanted to try it out before putting on a managed one. Yeah, I have. See, the problem with synthetic covered calls is that because they're not holding the asset, the price of the asset doesn't directly influence the price of that ETF. Now, it indirectly does. The reason it indirectly does is because if NVIDIA is doing really well and people hear about this yield max and they're thinking, oh, I can get these huge dividends and NVIDIA is doing well, that puts a lot of pressure for people to buy. And that buying pressure for that ETF, that's what actually controls the price. But here's where it kind of looks like it's NVIDIA doing it, because when NVIDIA is doing well, people are more bullish on NVIDIA, and things like this are much more tempting. So that puts in a lot more selling price. So you do get that movement with these. And we're talking the yield max synthetic ones. So if you look at the Canadians, the closest Canadian thing to that would be the purpose high yields. In that case, they are actually holding. So if you're looking at, for example, NVIDIA, so NVDY, they are holding NVIDIA. So they do move as well with the price of NVIDIA, but because they're covered calls, they do have a cap potential. So if NVIDIA goes to the moon, you're probably only going to make it to orbit, but that's still not a bad place to be. And plus, you've got a pretty good dividends coming through at the same time. Patricia says, I did add in NVIDIA when it fell under $100. Not bad. Not bad. 9 says, I actually like listening to Jim Richards for his knowledge of economics, but the doom and gloom channel has a sensational title like Get Out Now, but the channel uploads an interview he did in 2020. Okay. Yeah. And there are some YouTubers, like, I don't want to say that just because you get doom and gloom and you get these clickbaits, it doesn't mean that you're going to get a bad video. Sometimes you will get some clickbait people that play the game. They do that just to get the people in, but then they do provide good content. So you have to kind of have to sort of judge for yourself. And that's one of those things I'm always stressing. I'm always stressing about due diligence. And to me, due diligence is huge. You want to definitely be, you want to be front and center doing due diligence and all of that fun stuff. Speaking of fun stuff, I keep forgetting. It's Wednesday, right? So I should have brought this up at the beginning of the stream, but I'll bring it up now. If you guys do want a Friday market close, the same normal thing that we do with the 4 supers, we'll do that. That's a way to earn that extra one. So, that is up. I know we don't have a lot of time left in the stream. Well, we do. I mean, if you guys keep asking questions, we're here for a bit. So I'll just put that out there. All right. I think I'm going to now. Any of you have not yet hit that like button, I'm going to get you to do that for me right now. So let's get them all green. So right now, I don't even know how many likes we have, but it should at least be 33. That's what I'm thinking. So I'll have a sip of this while you guys take care of the business. Okay, that's fantastic. I love my coffee. All right. Here, funny little story on the channel. So part of the reason for taking a couple of days off, one, of course, was Jill had her birthday on Monday. So we're taking care of that. But I also wanted to change a few things up. with the studio. And I did that. I actually cleaned the studio, and I've got monitor. This monitor is now over here that I normally look over there, and so I got it all set up. And then I had to film this morning, and I filmed, and I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, this just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So yeah, needless to say, I had to go back to the old way of filming. So I discovered it didn't work, and so I'll probably move my monitor back probably this weekend. That way, there I can get things the way I liked it from before. But I did change the background color on the videos, or not the color, but the pattern. I actually went with oh, I can show you guys. Just give me a second here. I went with. All right, let's put this up here. I went with the thing that's behind me. And here, I'll disappear for 3 seconds. So yeah, I just went with that. It sort of ties into, well, you guys can see behind me the pattern I have on the wall. Now I tried to duplicate that color in the pattern, and it really looked too bright. So I did go with the greens that I've been using in my regular background. I'm going to move back to this one here. So I did change that up, and we'll try that out. And I really wanted to have my sign in the background, though. So I'll have to figure that out. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do on that, but that was the fun. So part of it didn't get accomplished, but we did have a good day on Monday, so that wasn't too shabby. All right, ZS is in the house. Hello, everyone. I do not have the funds to buy and take advantage. I just did my DCA for the week, and that's fine. That's fine, and and that will happen. There's going to be times that there's going to be a fantastic buy the dip opportunity, and you just don't have the cash. So that's perfectly fine. That's one of the reasons as well that when I'm looking at, for example, the cash, the cash ETF, so cash.to. I think I've got 2 in there right now, and I'll probably knock it up to 3 or 4 as I'm going along. That way there, I have it sitting there. It's bringing in almost just shy of 5% interest. It's bringing that into the challenge. And then when we do have a really good opportunity, I can always liquidate them and grab that opportunity. So that's kind of why I'm sort of letting that build. The big temptation, though, is you'll get these little opportunities that come along. And sometimes it's tempting to sort of say, oh boy, I should just liquidate this right now. And if you do it on a little opportunity, and then let's say a couple days later, a big opportunity pops up, then you'll be like, oh, darn. So as normal with a lot of investing, it pays to have a plan. It pays to have an idea like, hey, am I going to liquidate this for little opportunities, or am I waiting? Am I waiting for something good? So those are the type of questions I think that you want to ask. And now, as you will, of course, because keep in mind, we're building with the 0 to 100K, we're building it on a small scale. So, you guys may, for the most part, a lot of you are dealing with a lot more money, and it still boils down to the same thing, because it's all very, very scalable. So that's definitely something to sort of think about. All right. Larry says, TSLL Tesla 2X Bull ETF is in the $8 range again, down from 16. Ooh, nice. Now, those of you who don't know about these bull ETFs, so a bull ETF, basically, they're using leverage. So in this case here, they'd be using 2X leverage. So if you invest in one of these ETFs, and let's say Tesla, and then Tesla has a huge run, you can make a lot more money than if you would just investing in Tesla. But the danger, and I always have to tell you the danger, is that you're making your money twice as fast, but you can also lose your money twice as fast. So to me, Larry's doing the smart thing, looking at ranges. So you want to sort of look at ranges and have a good idea. Like I would be, if I was going to start playing something like a 2X, a 2X ETF or a bull stock, I'm going to chart, like I'm going to TA the banana bread right out of Tesla. And I'm going to be looking at everything just to make sure that I sort of know if it does fall a little bit, what am I looking at? Where are my supports? What is most likely going to happen? Because when you're dealing with a 2x, you have double the FUD or double the FOMO. So the emotional side is doubled as well because, it's that added pressure that, you make a mistake and you're paying 2 times for that mistake. So definitely something to keep in mind. Enid is in the house. Hello, Enid. Good to see you. Larry says, gonna start slowly buying for the robo-taxi hype. Yeah, and this is the thing. That robo-taxi, that's a thing. So this is going to be, I think for Larry, this is going to be kind of a, buy the rumor, sell the news type situation. And, I think, I mean, Larry's a really smart guy. So I have a feeling that, he'll do well with it. Let's see. A 9 says, I have 30K in cash ETFs in my TFSA waiting for a big crash for that. Ooh, nice. There's nothing wrong with that. And the beautiful thing is that 30K is making, 5%? That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby to be sitting on that and making 5% while you're waiting for that amazing opportunities. All right. Any thoughts on MSCI? Well, let's pull it up. I haven't had my screen up here in a bit. MSCI. Oh, we are in the right place. All right. All right. Now, of course, it's not going to show me MSCI. Let's go to, actually, you know what? I'm just going to come in here. All right, because this will give me access to news as well. MSCI. Here we go. Bang, we got it. All right, let's take a look here. All right, so as you can see, now this is these are the 1 hour candles. So you can sort of see right now it has been coming down, but let me just take, uh-oh, this is not good. Jim Cramer calls this tech stock terrific and says, I heavily suggest that you buy much more of it. All right. I am always afraid when Jim Cramer starts pumping a stock. There's actually an interesting thing. There are some, I believe, and I don't know what the name of the ETF is, but there's actually an inverse ETF based on Jim Cramer's recommendations. So basically everything he recommends, it's shorts. So it's kind of one of those funny things here. Oh boy. But let's see here. Yeah, it's kind of going to be interesting here. Let me pull up a little bit here. I don't want the news. Let's get out of the news. All right. All right. So we got an earnings report coming up in 76 days. So what's that? That's not even September. That's like early October. All right. Now they have done well. Like I'm looking here, and these are their previous earnings reports. So they have been exceeding expectations on their earnings. All right. Yeah, it's kind of one of these interesting things. Like I think, and oh God, I do not want to agree with Jim Cramer, but I think it has a strong potential to do well, but I would definitely choose NVIDIA over it any day. Now they are recommended right now as a buy. So it's not a bad stock. But how much upside do they still have? Because you are looking at $524. That's quite a bit of money there. And even right now in the post market, let me see here. Okay. All right, I'm not seeing anything showing up here, so I don't know where they currently are. But there's their well, what's that? Oh, those are their dividends. So, and now it doesn't go far enough for me to see. So MSCI, once again, I'm just going to sort of boil it down here to, um, it's kind of one that I don't get excited about. I'm not excited about it. Will it do okay? Maybe. Are there better opportunities? Definitely. But I, this is kind of one of these ones that I know a lot of people like them, and I know a lot of American YouTubers love it, and Jim Cramer loves it. But I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on it. I think there's better opportunities. I don't think you'll lose money on it, but I think there are better opportunities in tech. Honestly, if I go that way. Larry says, do you guys have high margin interest rates with Fidelity? It's 11 to 13% depending on account size. Hood is 6.5% with a paid subscription. Others are 8 to 13%. Oh, that's interesting. I do not know what type of margin interest rates that they currently have here, only because I haven't really been using margin. But if anybody has been using margin, drop it in the chat. Be kind of interesting to know. Al Bundy says, Candace is following Jim Cramer. Time to short Candace's picks. Yeah, no. Not gonna fall. You know, I just find it hilarious. So many people really respect Jim Cramer, but he's wrong a lot. He really is. So it's yeah, it's one of these things. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter who the person is, right? That you're following, that whether it be Jim Cramer, whether it be, me, Kevin, or myself or whoever, you still have that responsibility for due diligence. You don't want to blindly follow anybody. It just makes sense. You want to, you can get suggestions. I can show you, for example, I can show you some great stuff. I can show you what things have done. But in the end, it's not my money that you're investing with. It's your own money. So what you want to do is you want to, you want to be studying your stocks. You don't want to blindly go in and drop $50,000 on something because I said, I think this is going to be great. No, there's no way you want to do that. What you want to do is you want to look at it. You want to study those fundamentals. You want to sort of look and say, okay, I see what Candace is saying. And I do see the math is supportive, and get more evidence and check the news and things like that. It never hurts. And, you will find, and I'll tell you this right now, anytime you run into a YouTuber, it doesn't matter whether they're Canadian or whether they're American, if they say you have to buy this now, at that point, don't do it, no matter what, even no matter how beautiful they might sound at saying, because it could be that classic pump and dump. You don't know. You always want to be doing some research behind the scenes. And I usually say, so for example, I'm bullish on bird construction, but don't just look at what I think about bird construction. Do a search on YouTube on bird construction, see what other people think of it. And even then, what's even more important than what I think of bird construction, what's more important than what every other YouTuber thinks of bird construction, what's more important than all of that is what you think of bird construction. And that's where doing that due diligence, going in, making sure that it is something that that fits your risk profile, because sometimes there's a little bit of a difference there. So that is something just to sort of keep in mind. All right. Very quickly, we got ourselves a super sticker coming from Mary. That also means you got to hit that like button. Thank you very much, Mary. So we're 3 away from a Friday show. Just putting that out there. We got Steve here. Let's see. Been looking to take a position in TRI. So that's routers, or routers, I guess you could say it that way. I've held off because it's always been expensive. Great AI play and growing dividends. What do you want to do? Or what to do? What to do? Okay. Um, Let me just double check. I thought TRI was routers, but maybe I could be wrong on this one. Let me take a look here. Well, I'm going to go to routers first, just because. Seriously? All right. If this thing is just not cooperating with me today, we'll just try TRI. Yeah, there it is, Thomas Routers. However, yeah, it's routers right here. So you are talking, okay. Yeah, as soon as you sort of said a great AI play, I'm like, what? So yeah, routers. They're a news organization. They basically disseminate news across the world. So you can see right down here. So this is basically at one point, we had they used to be separate. They used to actually be part of the UK. So as you can see here, so it was from a mega merger of Canada's Thomson and the United Kingdom's routers. Hence it's called Thomson routers, but I still consider them routers. So let's just see here. Well, okay. Okay, so we do have a little bit. We got legal data and software as well. All right, accounting software. So maybe we got a little bit of interesting in there. That is interesting. But they're also, of course, really well known for the news. So if you look at news on any website, every so often you'll see some of them are coming out of routers or routers, however you want to pronounce it. So just something to keep in mind. I do like the company. I actually did. I did a deep dive on them. Oh my God, about a year and a half ago, or maybe it was 2 years by now. It's hard. It all blends together. But I do like this company. I definitely like them. And we look at their, just look at their 10-year, and you can sort of see why I have liked. This is a company that has done well. You know, you can sort of see right here. There's their pandemic. The little pandemic drop, but they've been mostly on the move up, and even now they're in a little bit of a correction, but they're still going to go back up. So this is something I do like. Now, keep in mind, if you're using Wealthsimple, you can definitely get in on this as a fractional buy. So that is an option as well. You know, if you're thinking, I don't know if I want to get in at 217, it's it's one of those options out there. But I do love it. I do love this company. So. Al says those YouTubers are just trying to build their YouTube channel by catering to their audience. Yeah, some people will do that. No, I mean, I do cater a fair amount to you guys, but I do it through democracy. That's why I let you guys vote on a lot of stuff. Other YouTubers don't give you the choices. They're just like, okay, these are the videos I'm making. Here you go. I'm like, you guys tell me what you want the deep dive to be, and I will do it. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. Let's see. This one guy I noticed on YouTube, he promotes dividend investing all the time. The odd thing is he only has 69K in his account. If he was so well versed in investing, why is there so little money in his account? Yeah, I mean, it depends too, though, right? Maybe he's only just begun. I don't know. I don't know which person you're talking about, but that's a situation too, where somebody may have just begun, and maybe they've started a channel, and maybe in some situations it might be like, hey, let's take this journey together as I'm learning about investing and about dividends and all of that fun stuff. So there's a lot of different things that it could be, but and you also have to consider too. Sometimes depending on the level of transparency, you may not be seeing everything they have. They may be showing you their dividend investing account. So they may be showing you just that. And they may have another side account that, has stocks that are perhaps not in that niche of their channel. So they're probably not showing those because they probably are thinking, yeah, I just want them to see me doing dividends. That's it. So there is that. Let's see. Maybe he has most of his wealth in growth, but only shows. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. So not too shabby. Vic says once they build community, then comes $600 Patreon. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I look at it this way. I mean, I do like I think YouTube has everything that it wants. Like I like the memberships. I think it's kind of a fun way that I can give a bit more. Um, and also give them options like, having the 1 day early. And it's actually interesting. When I first started the memberships on the channel, I didn't even dawn on me that I could give them an early access to it. And then eventually I'm like, oh, it's kind of nice if I can give them 24 hours to watch a video ahead of everybody else. Um, so yeah, that's just sort of popped in. And then some of the other benefits in that. I don't know about Patreon. Like I thought about Patreon initially. But I actually did have a Patreon channel, but nobody joined it. Nobody joined the Patreon channel. And that's fine because after a while, I was just like, oh my God, Patreon's way too much work. I like the fact that I can just do everything here at YouTube. So between YouTube and, we got the Facebook page and we, of course, have the Discord. I think that's fine. I think that's a good little network. Maybe someday I'll look at diversifying outside of that a bit more, but I think for now I do like it. Scott's, I don't know what happened to Scott. I know he did his move and he was supposed to come back. He also has a photography channel. So it'd be interesting to check that out and see if he's still posting over there, but I don't know what's happened to Scott. And Rye, yeah. I think last I heard he has a girlfriend in Ottawa somewhere. So I think he's happy with that. I think part of it is, sometimes life gets in the way, I guess. So it's kind of one of these things because I find when you commit to doing YouTube, it becomes more of it really becomes a part of your life. It's not a situation where I think it's hard to do if you're not willing to give yourself into it pretty much. So, and that could be the situation with Rye or with Scott. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Anything I say at this point now is absolutely 100% speculation. So I don't know. Now, one person who probably can give you more information on Rye than me is if you're ever over at Friggin. So he has a channel. It's I will warn you guys, it's a bit of an adult channel for sure. But I think he still hears from Rye. And I think Rye might show up on his channel every so often, but I haven't seen him over there in a while. But it's just. Yeah, just something. The nickel and dime crew. Yeah, the good old days, the good old days. But now with inflation, you pretty much have to be the dime and quarter crew, right? Jungle says, late to the show, just got to work. Well, welcome. Better late than never. Better late than never. Vic says, just host a live event and I will pay. Well, there we go. I would love to have like an auditorium and just have a big event. That would be really cool. I don't think I'm big enough yet for that, but maybe someday, because that would be a lot of fun. And and just to sort of point out, I'm not very shy when it comes to presenting in front of a whole bunch of people. So because I used to teach and then train the teachers for a tech company. So I have lots of experience for sure. So I would, I would welcome that. I would definitely welcome that. And I'm hoping that that Blossom gets an Ottawa date in that books sooner than later, because I think that would be a lot of fun as well. Because I would definitely love to have a chance to schmooze with a few of you guys. So that's always fun. All right, we are coming up towards the end. If you guys got your final questions on, if you've been holding out, if you've been waiting with those last questions, now's the time. Drop them in. And like I said, even though I said we're in our dying moments, you come up with some good questions, and I've had some streams where I've said, okay, we're in our final minutes and we've gone another hour. So I'm just putting that there. Not to say that we're gonna go another hour, but keep the questions coming. Didn't meet Kevin run for governor of California. Sorta. So I think what it was happening is there was something on the ballot for it's not a runoff election per se, but it was almost like a vote of no confidence in Gavin Newsom. And so he did campaign against Newsom and for himself as a potential for as governor. So he was planning to run for governor, but Newsom got to stay. He didn't. His vote of no confidence, or I'm not sure what the terms are in the U.S. for that, failed. So he got to stay, and nobody got to run for mayor. But Kevin did give a run. He gave some outdoor speeches and was on the news and all of that fun stuff. Let's see. Super nervous in front of crowds, but lots of courage on a keyboard. Well, there's a way to break it. And I've told this story before. I'll tell it again. So when I was in high school, I was super, super shy. You looked at me, I would turn beet red. Simple as that. And I knew it was an issue. I knew that it was something I did need to overcome. So I made a list. I sat down, I made a list of all of the things that scared me the most. And then once I had the list, I did every single thing on that list. So for example, I ran for class president, because I'd have to give a speech in front of the school. And that was pretty much one of the top ones on my list. And here's what I did. So I wrote the speech. I was waiting for my turn to give my speech. And the thought entered my mind, thank God I have a speech. This could have been much worse. And as soon as I thought that, I'm like, oh, but I want it to be much worse. So I destroyed my speech. And I forbid myself to use anything that was in that speech. So I had to make it up entirely off the top of my head. So I went up and I gave a speech. I powered through it. And I just kept doing stuff like that over and over. So I got involved in model parliament. I got involved in debating, anything that made me as uncomfortable as possible. And as a result, now, sure, if I'm going to go speak in front of a large group of people, I will still have some nerves, but it's nothing to overcome it. It's just how I'm wired now. And that's what I did. I just sort of I guess you'd call it like, if you've ever heard of like aversion therapy or something, putting people who are afraid of spiders with a bunch of spiders until they no longer bug them. I just did that when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to, doing all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm good. So I'm good now. And yeah. Now, if I told 15-year-old me, this is what the type of thing I would be doing, I'd be like, no way. But yeah, here we are. Mary says, do you still like Hammond? I sure do. I very much I like their fundamentals. I like their company model. I like the fact that they have a big role within India, because there's so much stress in India upon building that infrastructure to be able to handle the fact that a lot of mass production type stuff is shifting from China over to India. So yeah, they've got more clients than they could want. So yes, I am happy. Now, they had a correction. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. But here's the thing, and I'm going to put this out there. So when I first started talking about Hammond, more than a year ago, this was before they had their big explosion. Some people who got in were happy as a pie. Other people didn't really start taking notice, even though I've been talking about them. A lot of people didn't start taking notice of Hammond until they were already in the middle of the explosion. So they got into that situation where they bought high, and then we had a correction. That's a normal thing. Correction is absolutely normal. And now they're sitting there in the red, and they're saying, why did I get into Hammond? But no, Hammond is fantastic. So I will, and I'll get, I know that Mario is next in the list, but Larry down here is asking what is Hammond. So there's two companies, Larry. There is Hammond, Hammond Power Solutions, which is HPS. This is the first one I highlighted. All right, let's pull this up. So Hammond Power Solutions, and I am going to show you guys, we'll just show you the 3-year. So this here is a company that exploded. Now they've had a correction. So they're now sitting at 107. But I identified them probably back about here. I started talking about them. They were around 30 some odd dollars. And, they've done really, really well. Now, when we were in the hype and people were starting to take notice, a lot of people bought up here. Yeah, if you bought up here, you're sitting here going, oh, God, why did I get Hammond? But this is a company I think is going to do well. I think they're still going to do well. So this is the big one. So Hammond Power Solutions. Now there's a second company, and it's another Hammond. So HMM.A. And this one is Hammond Manufacturing. So we'll take a look here, and you're going to see a similar story. So they exploded pretty big. And of course, I was talking about, now these guys I started talking to probably about in this area here. And then they did explode. So they had one explosion. They had a second explosion. They made it up to $13 a share. So now they're back down right now at about $9.58. And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I know I got in down in here, and they're doing good. They're still doing good. Now, what I like about this is that they're both run by the same group of people. So the Hammond family, it's a father and two sons. And basically, Hammond Power Solutions, they make a lot of transformers and electronics that are used for infrastructure as well. And they had a need. So what they used to always do is they would build their stuff, but they would have to then rely on somebody else to build all the enclosures for it. So they were like, why are we doing that? Why don't we just make another company that does all the enclosures? So HMM, so Hammond Manufacturing, makes the enclosures for a lot of the products that Hammond Power Solutions is making. So the two of them work really, really well in conjunction. So if you hire, for example, Hammond Power Solutions to do a job, they're going to be like, well, we also need the enclosures for this. We get another company that does that, and these are perfect because they're exactly what we need. So yeah, it kind of works really well for them. So I think they're going to be fantastic. All right. Let's see. Can you look at PKI? It's been dropping. PKI. Here we go. So this is Parkland Corporation. And let's just go to the 6 months. So yeah, they've been on a downward drop for a while, and we're getting even more. So what is going on with Parkland? All right. So you can sort of see here, first of all, what they do. They market fuels and lubricants. So petroleum-based products. All right, and that makes sense. But why are they dropping? So is there just no longer as big of a need for it? Let's go further out. All right. So what we can see when we go further out is they have been doing good. It's only been lately that there's been a bit of a correction here. Let's just take a quick gander at a little bit of their data here. All right. So we don't currently have any kind of, actually, they're not providing very much, are they? All right. Let's try something else here. All right, I'm going to go over to Yahoo Finance and see if they have some of the missing data. They probably don't, but it doesn't hurt to look. There we go. Parkland. Statistics. All right. Oh, they do have some of it. All right. This is fantastic that I've got a little bit of data in here. So, okay, so they got a return on equity, 12.26%, 4.23. Okay, so that's looking fine there. They have their earnings have been dropping. Like this is year over year, so 10.30. They do have a lot of debt, though. That is one thing. Like right now, they're sitting at 206.76% debt to equity. So that that's not good. But as we move further into rate cuts, that's certainly going to help them as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Now, I have heard a lot of people saying that, the Bank of Canada is going to have to be much more aggressive now on their rate cuts. It's hard to say if they will or not. I will say, though, that what did happen with the U.S. job market certainly made a September rate cut much more possible. But not so much. I know I've heard some economists say, oh, they pretty much have to cut at every meeting now the rest of the year because things are going to get bad. Well, let's wait till we get Canadian job numbers and we'll see how bad those are. That'll certainly go more. That'll weigh more on rate cuts than American job numbers. Bismarcky says, I was the best man at a wedding. Oh boy, I hate public speaking, but I made it through it. There you go. Yeah, it happens. And we looked at that already. Vic says, I don't do weddings, funerals, any public speaking. You are an inspiration. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Jungle says, the hardest public speaking I ever did was writing my own wedding vows. Made my wife cry, so I guess I did okay. Hey, nothing wrong with that. And you probably know the subject material better than anybody else. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Wow, Jungle, give us a few of those vows. Till death do you part, in sickness and health. Oh, all that fun stuff. I have actually, I'll tell you something else I did. I actually once hosted a celebration of life as well. So it was just one of these things. It was like, people were asked, nobody really wanted to do it. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do it. And I had to write up a speech to fit in with that type of topic. So I'm usually game for stuff. I'm usually pretty game. All right, guys, I think we're there. I think we're at the end. This has been one other fantastic show. We do have a deep dive coming out for Friday on Scotiabank. Those of you who are channel members, you'll be able to see that on Thursday. So you'll get to see it one day early. And then we, of course, have the big this week on the weekend as well. So I can't wait for that. And I'm going to put, I know we only had one super chat towards a Friday show, but I'm going to throw this to the hands of those on the replay. So we've had one. If we get 3 more super thanks, in the after show or as people are watching, we'll throw that in. But, I'll just leave that out there. It's kind of cool. Until then, everybody, I'm going to bid you guys a fond farewell and have a great night. And let's hope we don't get anything happening in the Middle East. I'd like to have the rest of this week be calm and maybe move back into the green. So until then, everybody, take care.